Hi everybody, today is January the 18th, 2025. Welcome to Authentic Ingenuity Entrepreneur, and today is a continuous of more evidence from yesterday. I am going to try and be a bit more consistent just because of my criminal case and just taking the opportunity to do that while I'm taking a break from everything. So today I'm going to be talking about the appeal. I felt this is relevant. This was part of the evidence, and I'm going to focus mainly on the first appeal against Judge Chalice's decision. So the first appeal for this case is against Judge Chalice's decision. Judge Chalice, I actually won against, let's just have a look at the defendants here because she's got it listed on her judgment. This was continuation, from yesterday's clip. So at the hearing and on Judge's judgment, I actually won against the first defendant, the second defendant, and the third defendant. Okay, I won against that, and the only issue that needed to be addressed was the names of the parties. So Judge actually set down a hearing to have that sorted, and I had actually won that case. Okay, but the judge did not strike out the fourth, the fifth, and the sixth defendants. So if you've watched, you need to go on my YouTube channel. It's already there, so I don't really want to repeat myself. But just for this video and just to keep everybody in the mindset of this clip, today we're going to be focusing on the appeal against this judgment. I feel it's important because it's also like a core evidence of the beginning of the actual case. Unfortunately, we are dealing with, hang on, let me just have a look. We're now dealing with facts of after the fact. So this is back in 2017, and now I'm going back to relive everything and to explain everything and interpret it from my own words, what happened, because it's my case, my facts, my life, my existence. So I'm basically bringing the facts at that point of time. And I've also unfortunately have found a discovery of a lot of wrongdoings and just things that I don't think another person would be able to pick it up unless they're that experienced. Okay, because the reason why I say that, because it's my footsteps, it's my work, my existence, and of what actually happened. So now we're actually dealing, it's a Crimes Act, it's a criminal case, and it falls under the Crimes Act or the criminal jurisdiction. So we're dealing with facts after the fact. So it's already gone, the evidence is gone. The people that was back then, I don't know, they're all over the place. It's just, so what I'm doing is I'm actually rewinding backwards, but it does come under a Crimes Act accessory after the fact, or after the fact issues. Anyway, it's a whole, because I'm one person, I'm putting my profile together. So it does fall under that. And before I carry on, I also wanted to highlight this law too and actually concentrate on the cases. Actually, I can now actually confirm, according to the laws, that what happened to me was I was being animated or unanimate here. So I hope you did your homework from, like I said you guys last clip, to actually look it up what it means. But it's another word for substitute, and using subway, this is, and then they're building an illusion and somebody else is stealing your energy and they're living your life or you're living your original life as yourself, but they're using the misuse of devices, and this is where the substitutes come in, and they're pretending to be another nation or pretending to be another person or pretending to be someone that they're not, but I'm actually the original. So I hope you understand what I'm saying. And I'm actually the original in everything to do with my life. So I'm now actually dealing with the evidence, the core evidence from my own point of view, my words of what actually happened in the moment. So I thought this is important. This is the reason why this law existed. Okay, so now you could also remember we're now in a generation of everything technology. Everything is online. And a lot of countries around the world, I don't know who is online, everything online, but that is the modern day new age court system is also being transitioned to everything online. Okay, so this is my personal experience versus the old system that I'm used to. Okay. But this is the reason why this law, I believe, it came about. And got to keep in mind that the Crimes Act came in place before the technology system. Okay, but I believe this is the reason why these laws were important because of the dangers. It is a conspiracy system. If you use what everyone's doing using substitutes, if I have not consented to them to animate me, which I haven't. All right, so I felt that was important to explain this is what this law means. But today I will focus, I'll just go, on, because this is the first judgment made by Judge Chalice. And so now, because the appeal, I did appeal it, and for that reason, the other case, because the Judge Chalice had actually set a date for a second hearing for an appeal. Apologies, I'll say that again. Judge Chalice had actually set a hearing, I think it was 20th July, to actually deal with that case with the defendants here. Okay, Dr. John Joseph. So I have to say things as they are, like as if I'm a lawyer or a judge. But that is really bad because they actually lost. Okay, Dr. John Joseph lost. Yes, he was a psychiatrist. But Judge here has actually acknowledged, and he knew that I actually went there just to get my medical certificate renewed. So there's actually a recording and an exhibit CD that was submitted in regards to this transcript of what was said at the meeting at this point of time. Because I knew I was being set up. That's why I was determined that there was not going to be any meeting unless it was recorded. Because I knew I was being set up with everything. So he actually lost. Yes, he was a psychiatrist. And the thing was that they had used the act on me without any evidence. That's a criminal offence in New Zealand. Okay, and even to this day, there's still there's not even any sufficient medical evidence in my personal profile to justify to use the Mental Health Act. And they actually locked me up. I was actually traumatized after it, but just to get to the point, they actually locked me up where you put people that have murdered somebody and has, because of their mental capacity or their mental state of mind, they murdered somebody. They put me in that unit, and I was freaked out about it because I know all about this because I used to deal with with these kind of cases. But it, for someone like myself, it was a very traumatizing and scary experience. So that is why I have not given up pursuing and doing what I'm doing, because I don't believe, I don't believe that that they should be allowed to continue to do what they're doing to other people. So he had no case to answer. He was the only one that I'd say was qualified because he was a psychiatrist, but he had also submitted a transcript with the wrong date to the judge. His transcript wasn't as consistent as mine because we both submitted transcript of the hearing, and I had and then I actually had the recording, the actual oral recording of it, and that was on the CD, and everything was consented by everyone that was in there. But he had submitted his transcript, but it had a different date on it. And judges are quite, things like that, that's fraud. I don't know, but he had a different date, if I can remember from the top of my head. It was dated the 10th of February instead of the 4th of February. I was locked up in there for 5 days. Okay, so they used the act on me, locked me up for 5 days against my will, so it becomes unlawful detained. So I thought it was important. I'll try and keep an eye on the time because I don't want to make this video clip too long, but I felt it was important. I usually sleep on what I'm going to do, and I make a decision which direction to go with my video clips, my court case, or anything basically. And I just felt that I needed to do this because I haven't done one on the appeal. So we will be doing the appeal quickly. And before I go get into I'm just going to do a real quick through of the actual appeal, just to the main points, because the appeal was actually given to every single registrar when I submitted it to court. Okay, so the judge should have gotten this appeal, but nothing on the other judges. It didn't even look like the judge even got the appeal because nothing was mentioned. So this is the actual appeal, right? And before I continue with the appeal, I did find some things going back after the fact that somebody had actually, I had a suspicion, some of my documents, somebody had actually retyped everything. I felt like I was submitting something and somebody had retyped it. I just know my own work. Also, some of my documents back then, I believe this was actually sworn because it's an appeal. And I got it sworn, and at the end of it, it's been changed. So somebody's fraudulently gone, and because when you get something sworn, and I'm old fashioned and I like things to be sworn, but other times, I do have a receipt of a interlocutory application that was sworn, and they made me pay $250, but I don't think it's this one. But then they were refusing to swear it, even though I wanted to swear it, because, but I don't know. Anyway, I just thought I'd mention that because that's what I've come across after the fact, going back to my documents. The other thing I have found is that, yes, they've retyped some of the stuff, so I'm not happy about that, or some things have gone missing. So this is going backwards, looking at the evidence. So I'm going to just quickly go through. I've actually written down here on the appeal the name of the person that received it. Okay, maybe it's not this one that that was sworn, but I know that some of them was sworn and it's not now. Okay, but I wrote down the name of the court deputy registrar that received it over the counter, just for the record. Okay, so I won't read every single thing. As you can understand, it's going to take ages to go through everything. So basically, I just wanted to contest the judge's decision in regards to the other, just the other 3 defendants. Okay, so because that's my right to. So these are all the points I contested, and then this probably help you how to put an appeal together. But what I felt was really relevant was that I had actually submitted sufficient evidence because there was medical records in there, because that was another thing I had found. The medical records had even been tampered with after, like, when I had a whole lot of medical records, medical evidence, medical certificates from my doctor, just to show and prove that the reason why I was going through what I was going through when I had to go on stress leave was because of work-related discrimination, because that's what it was. Under the law, that's what I was suffering. It was, I was being discriminated at work. Okay. So I'm just going to go. And like, I have felt somebody has actually retyped some of my documents, like, I'm just, because I've got a very good memory. And I just know my work. So I have found that in some of my legal documents. The other issue I have found in this new age technology system, you all got to keep in mind, I'm representing myself. I'm a female on my own, and I'm desperately trying to go forward. But they are hacking, like doing proxy hacking. That is what I've noticed, and it's quite clear. But the thing is, I don't know who it is. And they can actually do, like, watch you work as part of monitoring. They watch what you're doing, and then they can actually access, and they can delete stuff. They can put stuff in your folders, take things out of your folders. These are the kind of problems I've had. And yeah, this includes emails, when I email the courts, and I've gone back and, like, all the emails, some of the emails I was receiving when I was talking to some of the case officers are deleted on my end too. So to me, that is not right, because that's just a suspicious activity of covering up evidence. Okay, not only that, it's my private business. No one has that right to do that, because it's my email. It belongs to me. So now, I know that this generation, for some reason, people think that PTSD is some kind of a serious illness. It's not. I don't believe I suffer from that, because anyone that knows me personally, and I know I can easily summons people to actually give character witness, but I'm not the type of person that would panic at work, a drama queen or anything like that. I'm pretty strong, and I've got a really sound mind, and I do mind my own business. I'm a very controlled person emotionally, so they could never come up with evidence that I was that type of person at work. Okay, I was very, very private, and if I had the odd friends I'll talk to personally, but I always separated work. Yes, I've had a difficult life, not because of my own doing. I am a victim of family violence, and maybe they dug up my past, and then they've interpreted it, or made it look like I'm this emotional mess person, and unstable, which I'm not. Okay, so but I know that I have noticed that some doctors want to take one word out of somebody's medical records and then think that's the big word to focus on to retire somebody. But in saying that, you can't just retire somebody the way they've done to me, where they've pushed me out, forced me out, and break the law. Okay, but saying PTSD, I don't believe there's even sufficient evidence there to prove that I do have that, because I've never emotionally have showed my emotions to anybody at work. That's what I'm saying, because I'm that private. Yes, I've had nightmares and stuff like that, but that's in the privacy of my own home. I mean, I'm so private, I don't even like I've just learned to deal with my own emotions, like anxiety and stuff. I'm not a panicky person, even though I'm one of these people that I'm just so level-headed. Even though things are pretty huge, when I explain things, they're actually really serious stuff, but I'm just explaining it as it is. But in reality, they're the kind of things like, that is so serious, like press the red button. But that's just my personality. When I explain things as it is, as I see it, and it's real and it's true and it's my reality. But I would not class myself as a person with PTSD, let alone there is no evidence to prove that, just because I've had, I'm a family violence victim, but I didn't have anything to do with my children's father for like over 20 years because I cut him off. I ended up divorcing him. And then I had a final protection order on him because I was protecting my children and myself, my mental health and safety, because it wasn't an unsafe relationship. And saying that, he was never really a problem after I cut him off, because he moved on with his own life. He's got a child, somebody else. But that's just how it was. Things happen, and that's what happened. Okay, so. There are I don't really want to go on anymore about this, because it's already everything I feel that is evidence. It's already explained on my YouTube channel in regards to most of this. But what I wanted to focus on was this, because this here should have covered everything, and it would have been sufficient for the judge to make an order against the Ministry of Health. Okay, now there was a hearing, I think it was on the 4th of July 2000, and was it 17? Let's have a look at this, just one moment. Yeah, there was a hearing, I think it was Judge. There was a hearing before. There was one before Judge Sharp, and then there was one before Judge Hinton. But Judge Hinton didn't even have the file when at that hearing. There was just, anyway, I'm just going to try and focus on this right now. This is quite draining for me. So what I did was, I felt it was important. See, I'd put in here about the recording. There was a CD there that was submitted in evidence. I had everything covered, but the file was being sabotaged. I'll just carry on. There was a part of this that I needed to so at this point here, kind of explained, I've actually typed out what was said on the medical records, typed out from my doctor, family GP, because I take time off. But I've basically described, she's written that the reason why I've taken time off was because I was suffering from severe work-related stress. I was talking about the bullying, the stalking, the discrimination. There were times I felt set up. It was that intimate. Okay, it was that bad. Just hold on a moment. I just need to do something. Okay, so this is what I would, in picture format, this is what I would call animated, twinned, okay? I'm under tight surveillance, like I'm some kind of a criminal and I've committed crimes, which I haven't. But this is what the best way I can describe what I'm going through. The problem is it wasn't just at work, it wasn't just at home, it was when I went out to public. Okay, people were using their cars. So this is what I call trafficking in persons case. Okay, just one moment. Oopsie, apologies. So here I actually described here what I've actually typed out what the medical certificate stated. Okay. And most of it was the medical certificates that I had submitted at that point of time, really focused in just on the problem, and the reason why I was on sick leave was because of the extreme work-related stress and anxiety. It was because they were bullying me. They were intimately doing that to me at work. They were abusing me intimately at work. They were leaving out knives. They were making threats, like leaving out rubbish bags. And they were making threats to hurt my children. That was the work condition I lived under. Okay, how I survived that long, I don't know. But anyway, I did. So then there was a time I had to go see Dr. Crichton. She was a psychologist referred by my family GP. And that, like, it was quite clear that I was going through really bad discrimination, and at this point of time, this is when my girlfriend Angela, I had a reason to believe she was murdered and went missing. I went and reported her missing at the police station. Now, I was served by a guy named Jerry a lot. But no, I don't know. They just didn't say anything to me. I did speak to one lady, and she didn't actually tell me that they didn't see her. It's just something she said to me over the counter. I knew that it wasn't good, but she wasn't going to tell me anything because of privacy reasons. But I was scared for her life because I felt she wasn't safe, and the last time I saw her, she wasn't safe. So this is a criminology case, if you like. It's that intimate. But I knew that somehow. I knew if something happened to her, they were going to do it to me, and this is what I believe is exactly what's happened. Okay, I twinned and cloned by the same people, just using different people. Okay. That's what, just going down a downhill spiral by a negative conspiracy alliance. But this is the reason, when I went to see this lady, I did talk to her about my girlfriend. And also at this point of time, the manager at that time was Louise Holloway, also known as Sheehan. And they were trying to force me to go in the front counter because I had actually refused to do the front counter because I didn't feel safe. I was being exploited, okay? And when I went to the front counter, I felt people were just there watching me, spying on me, and then following me on my way home. Blah, blah, blah. So that is the reason why I refused, because there was a point in my occupation. I took the responsibility to say no. Because I didn't feel safe. I felt exploited, okay? Because I just, at that time, that's what happened. And I think my manager got her nose up in the air about that because they were forcing me to go on the counter. But this is the reason why she came to a meeting. I explained to her what was happening, but I had no one. I even told this lady about my girlfriend Angela. She's not an imaginary friend. A lot of people knew who she was because she came quite over and saw me at the counter, and the evidence that I submitted to court is true. Okay. The last day I saw her, one of my work colleagues, Harvey, sorry, I've forgotten his name. Harvey, he sent me an email while I was in courtroom I was in courtroom 2. I had Judge Tremue, and at that point in time, I was doing status courts. Now, at this point in time, we had a court servicing scheduling roster. Okay, so on this roster, and I feel this is serious too, the way everything is done, just the exploitation of employees in their job. But they had a new system where they had a roster where everyone got it. So everyone knew who's doing court this day, who's going to be the judge this day, and then they wrote it on the whiteboard. But this particular day was the last day I saw this female, and she had actually come into the courts to see me, and now, just one moment. I have to pause. Alright, just had a bit of an issue there. So, yeah, so what actually happened here, that was the last time I saw her. She didn't look good the last time I saw her. She was in a bad way, okay? And Ray, there was a security guard. Ray, he thought I was having problems with her because she was mad with me, because she wanted to see me, she wanted to talk, and I couldn't talk because I just finished court. I was in an adjournment, and I told her to come back and after work and we'll talk about it. But she was also there on the same day. She had a court hearing. She was in for EBA. If you don't know what that is, it's for drinking and driving, and she was actually seen by the courts in courtroom 1. She was on that list for that day, but I never saw her again. Okay, so the judge adjourned at the hearing, going back to that was the last time I saw Angela Jones. Okay, and that's why I went and reported her missing, because I was worried about her. And then that was a reason that I actually told that to the psychiatrist, but that was another reason why I was adamant I was not going to do the front counter, because I felt absolutely unsafe. But the managers were trying to make me go on the counter. They were forcing me to do it, and I refused to do it. So that was a reason why we had another meeting with Dan Brady, Chris West, Lauren Stevenson, and the psychologist, and myself. And I brought up about the protected disclosure at this meeting. Dan Brady was brand new. He didn't know anything about it. Chris West knew about it, but he pretended he didn't know about it. Okay? Because I just knew that they were setting me up. They were trying to get rid of me. That's what I felt, and I thought, no, I'm going to talk about the evidence that I've submitted, because no one has done anything to get me out of there. Or, like they could have moved me to another court or something, but they kept me in there, and then I was subject to really inhumane abuse. Okay, nothing about it was funny. It was really bad working condition. Anyway, the judge also made direction, which is Judge Chalice, that I had to make submission about the laws, because I'd asked her to get it transferred to the criminal jurisdiction. So I asked for an adjournment. She gave me until the next day to make submission, and that's when I submitted these laws, and I gave it to this person here, Divya, at the counter at 1:30 p.m. and I had 10 printouts. I advised her that Judge Chalice was expecting the documents by 5 p.m. the next day, and I don't think she got it. All right, because I was getting really bad attitude from everyone. That they're just like, yeah, really not good. So that's on that. So, because I wanted it to be transferred to the criminal jurisdiction, because I knew it was a criminal case. And then I submitted all the laws for the judge to, that gives the judge the right to do that. Right? There was something that was said in the council had talked about that they didn't get served with something. I gave the judge the affidavit to prove that they were served in court. Okay. I think I want to end it there because I've basically had enough of all this. Here it is. Now, so there was a notice, so I did submit a notice of objection for order to strike out interlocutory occasion, and I also had asked for to enter a summary judgment. Okay, so I had actually won. Okay, keeping in mind I've done these kind of files for a long time, but I knew I was being sabotaged. So anyway, the other reason why I was entitled to another penalty for the defendants, because they didn't submit their submission or statement of defence within the 25 working days. Okay, because the laws apply to them too. All right, no one is more special that the laws don't apply to them. But that's just how it is. So so I've also named here who was it? The case officers who gave me the instructions, because case officers are they're the middle person, and they're the ones that we liaise between the defendants. They're the ones who tells us what to do or what needs to be done, but they're the ones that pass on everything to the judge. The judge is supposed to get everything. But here you go, another penalty. The councils didn't have a defence, and they still didn't have a defence. So that was confirmed by a few case officers that they didn't have a defence, and they didn't. Now the other thing was, see, I've asked the judge to transfer it here heaps of times, but they wouldn't. And then because of the set of circumstance at the time, I'd actually entered a 111 interpleader. I actually had a document there, another separate document, and made submission like basically begging the court to make a decision, because I wanted it to be done, because it was my liberty. It was causing me stress. I just wanted everything to be closed. But I hate to say this, I have a reason to believe. I remember submitting that document over the counter, and a lady named Jacqueline, female, white, European female, received that, and I just think some of them just threw my documents in the shredder, just threw it in the bin, because that's the attitude I felt I was getting. All right. But there was definitely a signed application. It was actually sworn. So, that's the kind of thing I felt was happening to me during this time of the court cases. That the judges were not getting the evidence, and the deputy registrars were actually breaking the law. And while we're on that topic, okay, this here, I know I've done clips on this, but this is where the Crimes Act, crimes affecting the administration of law and justice. So this here is what all the judicial, the deputy registrar, I know I've already pointed this out, but it's 14 years imprisonment for judicial corruption, and it's 7 years imprisonment for any deputy registrar. Okay, so if a criminal case, like if I got murdered or somebody else, a criminal crown decides to take over my case, they would be using these laws to audit and to make sure corruption has not taken place. So you can understand why everyone is scared, and like, it's my life against theirs. They don't want to lose their job. But the problem is, once you let one thing go, it just contaminates. One mistake and everyone starts getting into their cliquey groups. You end up having corruption, and it doesn't stop there because they'll just lure other people and it continues. So the other people that were involved in my case at this time was also Steve Cleo, but just by case managing, signing documents, and the other one was Naomi Johnston. She's the person that actually I paid $75 to her. It's her receipt. There's a receipt in an exhibit in court with her signing it, and this person here, Nancy Atikaho, she just had just a little bit to do with it, but she didn't case manage. So these are the people that were involved in my case at this point of time. And I'm going to end this clip now because it's gone on far enough. It's 40 minutes long. And then I'll probably do one on the judicial review. Hang on. Yeah. So I've basically put here the reason why they should do a judgment of liability, because I'd lost my job. Of course, I had no job. I had to go on a sickness benefit until then. I couldn't go work, and then I couldn't even cancel the sickness benefit because I didn't even know what Dr. Steve Copen looked like, because it was because he thought he was the one who medically terminated me. This is before the actual hearing, so I couldn't even I wasn't allowed to work until it was it was cleared that I can go back to work. So that medical terminated terminology needed to be cancelled before I could even go to work. And I didn't even know what this doctor looked like. I never met him. And so I didn't even know what he looked like at that time. Okay. So it was really horrific what they did to me. And here it is. I've got all here what happened, and the reasons why the judge should do a judgment of liability, but they didn't. All right. So I'll leave it at that. And just to top it off, I have decided to put up some photos, some of my posts here. For if you're into criminology, my video clips is the kind of video clips that you'd want to learn about criminology. Personal experience, I wouldn't wish what I've gone through even to my worst enemy, okay? It's not, no amount of money could compensate what they've done. It's basically stealing somebody else's life. And I have felt that they've just all used me for money laundering purposes historically. So we're dealing with after and before and after the fact. So we're doing before. So everything's to do with about me is after the fact and before it happened. So it is definitely a criminal case. And this is what it looks like. I just kind of put together some pictures of what it looks like. You see these people in a bottle. You're basically trapped. And and that's not good. Should not be happening. It should not be happening. But this is what is happening with the call centers. You apply for things and they're retrieving all your private information, and there's no guarantee that they're not going to blacklist you. But I am going through a blacklisting problem. So here I've done a bit of this is to do with the work relation problem, and I've actually dated it. You can read it yourself. Okay, these are exhibits 2, and these are the 3 ladies that I made a complaint about back in 2009, and they were there. They were there. In fact, this person here, June Tupe, she made a complaint against me, and so did Louise Holloway, but then she withdrew. But it was definitely a workplace alliance, and and now, because of no one did anything, now it's a criminal case, because now I can prove that no one did anything. They left me in there. So this is what I've drafted up, and this is what it's like. Okay, being a trafficking in persons case, the pain and suffering is horrific, and what makes it worse is that the opposition knows your pain, your suffering, so they're actually getting a kick out of it, watching you suffer, taking things away from you slowly, and watching you suffer, and at the end of the day, they're doing it because it's either me or them. But what you got to keep in mind is I'm the victim here, okay? Because I'm always on a defense. I haven't done anything wrong other than them just being racist by sticking up for each other, or each other's job, or people have actually stolen off me. Members of their family may be in prison because of what they've done, but it's also they've used more like a love triangle thing. So it's not family violence when it's a public and government conspiracy, and also involving globally. This is what now I can prove. Okay. Now this photo here I felt was important because this is evidence. Okay, everything is evidence. But the reason why I chose this photo, I actually took this photo when they used the Mental Health Act on me on 4th of February 2016. I don't know why I took a photo, but the background is that's where they locked me up for 5 days, and while I was in, even though I was traumatized, I just I just went along with it and just didn't want to behave like I was upset and everything, so I just walked around like normal and just kept to myself. And then I thought I'd just take some photos of myself while I was in there. But this was actually taken on while I was locked up back in February 2016. I don't look mentally, do I? Anyway, so everything on my YouTube channel, which is Authentic Ingenuity Entrepreneur, I felt in my heart to put a channel together, more so to help other people to be aware of trafficking. It was also dedicated to my girlfriend Angela, and so basically I did it just as like an awareness, and honestly, what I have witnessed, I wouldn't even wish it on my worst enemy. Okay, I have not committed any crimes or anything. It is definitely a trafficking ring, and I'm shocked at more of how easy you can get caught up in something and trapped, and then you can't get out. And the danger is in the public and the global stalking, using the surveillance. You're not safe. Common sense is, if you're exploited, no one is safe anymore. Like, anything can happen, so don't put your guard down, and just take extra precaution when you go out. So thanks for watching. I'll finish it there, and I'll probably do a clip on the judiciary review next. Okay.